Now, after days of mounting speculation and increasing numbers of allegations, Huw Edwards has been revealed as the presenter at the centre of the BBC scandal. He was named by his wife, Vicky Flind, in a statement issued on his behalf. He's accused by the Sun newspaper of paying a young person more than £35,000 for sexually explicit pictures from when they were 17. Yesterday, more allegations emerged. The BBC reported Huw sent a young person abusive messages after making contact on a dating app. And The Sun reported that the presenter broke COVID lockdown rules to meet a young person from a dating site, and he messaged another on Instagram. Now, this evening, Edwards' wife revealed he was suffering from serious mental health issues and is now receiving inpatient hospital care where he will stay for the foreseeable future. She also said Huw was only made aware of these allegations last Thursday. So we can finally talk about the fact that this is Huw Edwards. And I think it's really important to strike the balance between being respectful of somebody's mental health. I find it interesting, you know, the wife's obviously spoken out very bravely as well, because she ultimately is directly impacted by this, and said that he suffered from depression in the past, but ultimately this kind of event, I think, would have a negative impact on anybody. It's balancing that with accountability of an individual who, you know, by many accounts here, faces allegations of, at the very least, an abuse of power.
Exactly right. I mean, the police today, very significant moment in this saga, announced that they've looked into it and they don't think there is any reason to pursue him for criminal offences, which would tend to indicate that the suggestion that he gave this vulnerable teenager money when the teenager was 17. The suggestion is that he didn't do that. So if it was after he was 18, then that's not illegal. So it does seem as if there is no reason to accuse Huw Edwards of criminal activity. However, this is a guy. He is arguably the most important television presenter on the state broadcaster, on the BBC, that we pay for. It is the unparalleled position of trust bestowed on only very exceptional individuals, once in a generation. He's done this for 20 years. He's presented all the biggest events, the Queen's death, the Prince Philip's death, the various weddings and so on, the coronation. And if the allegations against him are true, that whether or not this kid was over 18, that he has been paying kids for sexually explicit pictures, or when I say kids, young people, then he has abused his position of trust. And whilst we feel great sympathy for him and his family and his mental health issues, I'm afraid if these allegations are true, he does not deserve to be on our television screens.
I do a bit of crisis management with celebrities and MPs, and if I was advising Huw, this is exactly what I'd say to him. You've spoken about depression. Let's say you've got mental health issues, because now the BBC are going to carry on their investigation. How can they speak to Huw Edwards now about it if he's in hospital for the foreseeable future? He might be in hospital for the next 3-4 weeks. He might be in there for months. But it's going to make the investigation, his own investigation, drag on and also slow it down at the same time.
But the one thing I would say about that is, in fairness to Huw, he has spoken about suffering from depression before, really crippling depression.
Yeah,
but it is neither here nor there, in my opinion. Now, it may affect how we now cover it, which is clearly the intention.
Yes.
But it doesn't change the facts of the matter.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that whatever torture he may have been going through about his private life, whether his marriage wasn't in a good shape or he had other desires, whatever that may be, I don't think that that's really got anything to do with him having mental health issues in some way as an excuse for what appears to be an abuse of power. These young people, if there's more than one, that hasn't been absolutely proven or anything like that, some of them appear to have been very vulnerable, according to the parents. One individual concerned was a drug addict, and Huw Edwards, whatever his mental health condition, is in a very, very powerful position. And there's something deeply, deeply disturbing to me about somebody of that age in that position having any kind of relationship with somebody who's got a crack cocaine, allegedly a crack cocaine habit, whether of a sexual nature or not. Something went very, very wrong there.
Yeah.
A massive, at the very least, a massive error of judgment. And since he is paid from the public purse in this huge position of authority, I think that there is a strong public defence interest in this story.
No doubt whatsoever.
I think the issue here, I mean, there's a few different issues at play here. First of all, you're working for a state broadcaster. You cannot bring an employer, whether it's a state broadcaster or not, into disrepute. Obviously, this is something that he's done in his private life. You know, like we have heard, there's no criminal case to answer. But it's the abuse of power, I think, that people will really take umbrage with. And we also have to realise that you can have mental health issues, you can have problems, whatever that may be, but you can still do something really, really stupid.
Yeah.
And the two things can be mutually exclusive, and we shouldn't use one as an excuse to try and palm off the other and say the other thing doesn't matter.
We've got to also note that there are now, again, we've got to keep saying these are allegations. We don't know whether or not they're true. The Sun obviously would not put them in the paper unless they thought they were true. But there are now 4 separate individuals accusing Huw Edwards of inappropriate behaviour, and I think I'm right in saying 2 of them have been found and reported on by the BBC itself.
Right.
The BBC tonight, like the Sun, has sort of said, well, we've got far more information about Huw Edwards, but we're going to lay off given his mental condition. So, yeah, I mean, this guy, you can't overstress this guy being the allegedly guilty party. This could not be worse for the BBC. He is quintessentially the most important journalist on the state broadcaster, and he was in a position of trust. And if these allegations are true, he abused that trust. He behaved incredibly inappropriately. And frankly, if they're true, he does not deserve to be on our screens again.